justifying India to share the vision of a new millennium. But everything came crashing down once Narendra Modi came to the power in 2014. Hello, this is Bakhtaar Mahmood and you're watching White News. There were times when the social scientists were predicting India to become the next superpower in 2020, justifying India to share the vision of a new millennium. But everything came crashing down once Narendra Modi came to the power in 2014. Modi actualized the most abrupt downfall a state can ever have, and over a cascading period, India started to be seen as a failed state.
The country is today in the midst of a dangerously protracted slowdown. And this is something which is not a statement being made only by the Congress party people, but everywhere the common theme is that the economy is going from bad to worse. And the dangerous thing about the present situation is that the government is complacent enough not to realize that we are in the midst of a protracted economic slowdown.
It is said the worst evils which mankind ever had to endure were inflicted by bad governments. From economy to national security to foreign policy, India has practically failed in every aspect of governance under the Modi government. The year 2019 found India on a very shaky ground, with India's economy grown to only 4.7%. The ill-advised policies such as demonetization and the new goods and services tax sparked off the economic downfall of India. In the wake of COVID restrictions in 2020, with all the transport links snapped, India witnessed the horrific sight of millions of migrants heading home on foot in an astonishing mass migration. India's strict lockdown saw the country's GDP contract more than any other major economies. In COVID backdrop, no other nation saw such chaos like India, and India's economy shrunk by an unprecedented 23.9%. Devoid of the foundations of the basic governance in the last 7 years, and as if the economic recession was not enough, the Bharatiya Janata Party doubled down on its Hindu nationalist positioning.
The meeting was overshadowed by violence that erupted in another part of Delhi over a new citizenship law claiming several casualties. Those opposed to the law believe it discriminates against India's Muslim citizens. The timing of the clashes is an embarrassment for the Indian Prime Minister, eager to show a polished picture of his nation.
February 2019 saw the horrific communal rioting in Delhi, even as the US President Donald Trump, on a much publicized trip to India, was just a few kilometers away from the Mayam. With 53 dead and hundreds injured in the federal capital over highly discriminatory citizenship law. The anti-CAA Citizenship Amendment Act demonstrations took place in almost every major Indian city, but Modi government dealt with in even increasingly authoritarian measures, including the mass arrest, tortures of the activists and Muslim protesters.
ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ कि एक हाई प्रोफाइल राष्ट्रीय मेहमान भारत आया हो और भारत की राजधानी दिल्ली में दंगे हो रहे हों। ये और बात है कि इस हिंसा की प्रशासनिक जिम्मेदारी अब के मीडिया समाज में किसी की तो होती नहीं है। फिर भी ये बात दुखद तो है ही कि हम किस तरह की राजधानी दुनिया के सामने पेश करना चाहते हैं।
The unending riots in India are a stark reminder of just how failed India's social fabric and law and order system is.
Today, President Trump's second day in India, and especially the capital Delhi, his visit has been eclipsed a bit by some unprecedented violence and rioting in northeast Delhi. This happened literally, this broke out hours before Trump landed in the capital yesterday evening. And this has been reported as a clash between opponents and supporters of a very controversial citizenship law that was passed by the Modi government last year, which critics say, discriminates against Muslims and is undermining the country's secular traditions.
The abrogation of Article 370 in 2019 made India a gruesome picture of a living hell in the Indian-occupied Kashmir. The entire world witnessed the mass slaughter of Kashmiris under the complete media blackout to change the demographic status of Kashmir once and for all.
चाहते हैं आजादी, मर भी गया तो आजादी, मेरे कमल का निकला आजादी।
With more than 700,000 Indian military personnel deployed in Kashmir, the resistance became increasingly homegrown, with India's internal security tipped into the jeopardy. With India experiencing more internet shutdowns than any other country in the world, a report by the democracy watchdog Freedom House shows that internet freedom in India declined for a third straight year in 2019 to 2020. To add to this avalanche of social, economic, political and foreign policy failures, India lost nearly 100,000 square kilometers of the Indian Union territory of Ladakh to Chinese PLA after a disgraceful beating. India's military strategy couldn't even come closer to the well-planned and multi-pronged deep incursions of China and only demonstrated a failed border security. With Pakistan Army on the west and the PLA on the east, a two-front war is a real possibility for India now and has made India a geopolitically sensitive region in the days to come. After US defeat in Afghanistan, India emerges as the most disadvantaged player with foreign policy of India in fiasco. Suffering strategic, diplomatic and military humiliations in Afghanistan, India's investment of more than $3 billion for the past 20 years has practically gone to drain. Under Modi's government, India's false image of military and economic might in the region has now been brutally tarnished, acting as a stamp on the making of a failed state.